What's going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Thursday. Birds are chirping and stuff. And also, Wolves back. Just, it's glorious, man. But we got some Q's. We got some A's. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions. Periodically, we'll put out a call out for questions on the community tab. So thank you, everyone who submits questions. You guys are the best. Fire it up. So we got 5 good ones today. First up, one McGrady. Is that an homage to Tracy McGrady? Get down, man. How much do you think Justin Jefferson is going to get paid? So our prediction has been pretty static throughout. So we're predicting, so years could be highly variant, especially if it's a true extension on top of the 5th-year option or if it's a brand new deal. TBD. But $35 million a year average is what we're predicting, which would easily put him as wide receiver 1. Also, it would put him slightly above Nick Bosa's $34 million a year deal. Also, $100 million guaranteed, front loaded, as the Vikings do have significant cap space in 2025, 2026, and that's what's great because Darnold isn't making much in the grand scheme of quarterbacks, and McCarthy's on his rookie deal. So this is the advantage. Like, this is the glorious window of having very affordable quarterback contracts that you can take care of your guys early, and then you can eat that eat all of that cap early, since you do have that cap space, as well as be shoppers in free agency. Creed Humphrey one time, then in 2 years Micah Parsons one time. Bam, chicken's done. But yeah, take care of JJ. You absolutely know it's going to happen. And I know that the media is sowing seeds of doubt because they need clicks and they need eyeballs and stuff. And it's just so transparent and BS, but is what it is. We'll get to Florida in here in a second. But next, Ben H99. I like our draft class. Very intelligent and special character guys. Kind of mirrors our GM and coach. Your thoughts? I thought Scene was bright as well. Why isn't it clicking with him? Well, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And, the reports, from Andrew Kramer, Star Tribune, that things with Scene and Andrew Booth Jr., Kwesi's first 2 draft picks in 2022, like the light bulb isn't clicking, his words. So, I don't know. But it does seem like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell have made a concerted effort to get high character guys. Now, there was a saying in like 80s college football recruiting is that you're not going to win a national title with Boy Scouts, with a roster full of Boy Scouts. But I think that there definitely is a balance in terms of taking red flag guys. And I feel like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, they're very cognizant of locker room culture. And everything is fun, everything is light, everything is positive, and all it does is take a few bad apples in select spots, especially in leadership roles, to completely ruin everything. Now, like when there's a lot of talk about bringing in OBJ, because he and Justin Jefferson go way back like chiropractic, but in terms of having solid veteran leadership, I don't think that OBJ would have spoiled the punch. But also, if you have too many exceptions on your roster, you turn into a team of exceptions. That's what happens. And once that trickles up to leadership, it's a wrap. But the Vikings, even though they're going to be one of the youngest teams in the league, you still have Harrison Smith. You still have guys like jumping Josh Metellus. You still have guys like Harrison Phillips. You still have guys like Brian O'Neill. So you still have some stable veteran leadership on this team, and I think that goes a long way. And also, McCarthy, squeaky clean, friggin' Boy Scout, model citizen. Dallas Turner's good to go. Kyrie Jackson, like the big knock against him is like, oh, he got suspended from Alabama. We don't know why, but everything about him seems like he's good to go, especially from his year at Oregon. Rouse freaking went to Stanford. Will Rockhurd was an academic All-American. Michael Juergens is a stud at Wake Forest. Levi Drake Rodriguez is all heart and all hustle. So, again, is it a requirement to be just like a model citizen in all aspects and 0 red flags? Sure. But I feel like the Vikings have done a very good job of just building a culture of good dudes, right? And also, so Kwesi will take chances on guys with red flags, but usually they're due to injury. They're due to scheme. Mama, I can change the situation. You haven't quite seen yet Kwesi taking a shot on the character red flag guy, all right? So next. Hooper, do you think Dallas Turner will start over Andrew Van Ginkel? So it's going to be interesting because I think Dallas Turner is going to be way too good not to have on the field a significant number of snaps. I think that Turner's probably going to end up playing like 70% of the snaps, but in terms of like a straight 1-for-1 for Van Ginkel, I don't see that. I think that Van Ginkel, who does have off-ball skills, I think that there's going to be a way. So AVG, Dallas Turner, Ivan Pace Jr., Blake Cashman, Jonathan Grenard, I think all of them play above 65% of the defensive snaps this year, and I think that there will be significant amount of time where all 5 of them are on the field. Now, I understand that could be a juggling act, especially since the Vikings last year ran a 3-safety look with Smith, Bynum, and Metellus, except that really was more by circumstance, by having to have that out there. Now, I do think that Flores is going to dial back some of the snaps for Harrison Smith. I think they're going to dial back some of the snaps for Harrison Phillips. Phillips had a career high in snaps last season. So I think that there will be lots of snaps around for talented guys, and the best dude is going to play. And, AVG, AVG is going to be an X factor. I think AVG is going to be up there with Metellus in terms of his versatility and importance to the defense. And Turner, it's going to be hard to keep Turner off the field. I put a couple of jelly beans on Turner being the rookie sack leader, as well as Turner above 10.5 sacks. So I feel pretty good about both of those. Next, Noel W. What's your prediction for how the next 5 years will go in the NFC North? So speaking of jelly beans, so I've talked about this before. I have a pretty significant so it's 3-tiered. We added a 3rd tier. In the next 5 years, the Lions will not return to the NFC Championship game. Also, the next 5 years, the Lions will not win the North. Also, the next 10 years, they will not appear in the Super Bowl. That's how confident I am. And, I mean, the Lions basically blew their chance because I think that Detroit woodsheds the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but they gave it away against the Niners. And I'm confident that they won't return to the NFC title game because it's hard to get back there. I mean, look at Dallas. It's been 30 years since America's team has played in the NFC title game. It's ridiculous, man. So I think the Lions are going to be like a lot of teams where everyone gets paid and all of a sudden, things get tight and there's some animosities in the locker room and all of a sudden, Dan Campbell, the rah-rah guy, sometimes a message gets lost and coaches get tuned out. I feel like there definitely is a shelf life for that style of coaching, and I think that Detroit is going to be inert. I think they'll be fine. And then you look at the Packers and Jordan Love. I'm not sold on Jordan Love. Like, I know they finished the year strong, but is he going to be the guy that's going to consistently get it done, or is he going to be the guy who looked like ass, thank you, the beginning of last year? Now, I like their receiving core. I like parts of their offensive line. I think their defense has tons of great talent, especially in that front 7. And LaFleur, I mean, hate to give him credit, so I'm not gonna. But I do think that the Packers they'll be in the mix. And the Bears, the Bears are getting the Lions hype from last year, except I don't think the Bears will even come close to sniffing that hype. I mean, that offensive line is very poopy outside of right. So I think things are going to go very wrong for Caleb Williams. And yeah, he could have all the receivers in the world, but if he's on his ass or if he's out there trying to play hero ball, it's not going to matter. And defensively, they still have some nice pieces, except depth. I do have concerns about that. I do like Sweat. I do like Edwards. I do like Edmonds. Jalen Johnson's an absolute freaking stud. So, I mean, yeah, they got talent there, except I don't think Eberflus is the guy to lead them forward. And I think that he will be a lame duck this year. I think that he's going to be axed. So the next 5 years, I think that J.J. McCarthy will rise up, become a top 10 quarterback. I think that he will be perfectly in sync with Kevin O'Connell and with Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, and Darisaw. This is going to be a friggin' elite offense. Flores is clearly being frozen out by the NFL, so he may be here as DC for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and it sucks for him, but it's fantastic for the Vikings, and I think that defense is going to be fun, fast, free, and just getting after it. So I think the next 5 years, maybe not 2024, maybe 2024 is a stepping stone, or hell, maybe the Vikings are the 2023 Texans this season. But I think over the next 5 years, I really do like the Vikings' chances. Next. Knack Dog. Why do the national media jabroni haircuts hate the Minnesota Vikings so much? Why do they want Jefferson out here? Stop making up all the rumors, and Florio knows where he can stick that thermos. He's the worst type of Vikings fan. A hater. Pick a new team and move on. So, yeah, all of the Vikings tried to trade up for Malik Neighbors and then trade Justin Jefferson. So that appears to be a Florio creation, because he reported that during the draft got sort of swept under the rug, and then shooter Charlie Walters of the Pioneer Press picked it up over the weekend, and of course the aggregators got a hold of it, and then Seifert had to, who's not Carl Gershman, had to come out and say not true, false, fake news. But why did they hand the Vikings? So I feel like it's easy. So it's like, remember when like the Buffalo Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls, and Carrot Top with his stupid props would always do the Buffalo Bills helmet with the Kleenexes? It's basically that. And I feel like when the Vikings lost their 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, I feel like the media ran with that, because that was before ESPN, that was before whatever, but seeds were sown. It's like, oh, the Vikings always lose. The Vikings are the lovable losers, except for the lovable part. So we can just punch down on them. We'll get easy points, because people are just like now. Like, they're attracted to negativity. They love hot takes. And you could always get points by just hating on the Vikings. Plus, also, you think about the national teams that were hot, coming in through the 70s on in. The Steelers, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, unfortunately, the Patriots. I mean, they all, the Chiefs now, they all get their love, but it's very easy to hate on teams like the Vikings. And, I mean, it's easy to hate on teams like the Vikings because you almost feel bad picking on teams like the Browns or the Lions until they got good for a hot second. But it is what it is. I mean, the thumb's always going to be down on the scale for the Vikings and anyone associated with it. It just sort of is what it is, but it's all right. And Florida, I know the Florida is a Vikings fan, but yeah, I mean, just report news like a big J journalist, as opposed to just fan fiction. I don't know, man. But that's it. That's at Q&A for this beautiful Thursday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.